QNews Foreign Policy Chief Kaja Kallas accused Russia of playing games with peace talks. From your own perspective, sir, in your own narrative, what tangible steps could European partners take beyond statements to create meaningful leverage in negotiations as soon as possible?
I think that the main pressure on Russia for real talks about peace is economic sanctions, because I don't think that any other kind of steps from Ukrainian partners could give result, because in military way it's hard to win war versus Russia, but in economic way we have example of the Soviet Union, when Soviet no one attacked Soviet Union, but it disappeared because it was lower oil prices. And now, as for me, the best pressure on Russia is decreasing oil prices, because without them, there will be big problem in Russia economy. Even now, after 2 months of this year, Russia have the deficit of their budget at 2.7 trillion Russian rubles. They planned 1.3 trillion at the end of this year, but now after 2 months, 2.7. So it means that in economic way, it's the best argument to Russia to return to negotiation table and to return to Ukraine's territory. Russia not ready for that, because Russia said that what we annexed, we will not return to Ukraine, either from 2022 and especially Crimea from 2014. But the opposite argument that if your economy faced with the big problems, the only reason to Western countries to help to Russia not to deepen in those problems, just returning Ukraine what they stolen. It's naturally, if you committed crimes like Russia committed in 2014 while stealing some territories, and especially after 2022.
Mr. Ivan, before I wrap up this episode, I remember and recall, and I want to know your narrative. And of course, you elaborate on Donald Trump when he said during his campaign that in 24 hours the Ukrainian-Russian war will end. Whereas now, sir, as you can read, of course, and as all of us can see, he's threatening Russian, of course, U.S. President Donald Trump is threatening to put tariffs on Russian oil, and he's also threatening to put on Ukraine, of course, more and more sanctions. How do you read the situation, sir, and your narrative before we wrap up today's episode, sir? And how are we going to resolve this conflict as soon as possible?
As soon as possible, actually, it's not words but deeds. Trump
it's
said
not,
about...
It's not what, sir?
Not words. Because now Trump only threatened to Russia that he do that. Let's imagine that today, when Trump want to increase tariffs, he said that it will be 25 or even more increase of tariffs for countries who purchase oil from Russia. I think that it will give a result in 2 or 3 months. And after that, we will receive peace. Because if no one will buy oil from Russia, for not having problems with the United States of America and sanctions from them, Russia will not have sources for this war. And after that, quite possible that Russia will be ready to return to Ukraine all territories that they annexed. Probably about Crimea.
Sir, are you optimistic because I have to wrap up now?
I think yes.